How many of you speak one language? Mostly everyone, right? How many of you speak two languages though? Or three? Or five? The point is, in the United States, monolingualism is the key factor here. We speak on average one language. But according to Jared Diamond in his article, Benefits of Multilingualism, published in October of 2010, when he went to New Guinea, he found that on average, the citizens there spoke 5 languages, which is exponentially higher than the languages spoken here. And the quote-unquote champion of these languages could know up to 15 languages, which is leaps and bounds above the one on average here. So for this speech, I would like to talk about the benefits of being multilingual in today's society and culture. So for example, according to Ellen Bielstick from her January 2010 article, Global-Based Trail-Making Tasks by Monolingual and Bilingual Children Beyond Inhibition, it's a long article title. She says that children who are multilingual actually are more apt to have better and faster cognitive function than their monolingual counterparts. Also, by Joanne Guri from the January 2014 article, Multilingualism in the Workplace, Language Practices in Multilingual Context, it has been proven that employees who are multilingual are more employable than those that are not. And finally, again by Ellen Bielstick from her October 2006 article, Bilingualism as a Protection Against the Onset of Symptoms of Dementia, it has been suggested and thoroughly researched now that being multilingual can serve many health benefits to the elderly, such as preventing early onset of Alzheimer's. So I've sifted through many articles and gone through a lot of data and research, and these are some of the things that I found were the most poignant and the most important in my research. So the purpose of this speech is to inform and to persuade each of you into hopefully thinking that the viewpoint of being monolingual in today's society and culture is outdated and, quite frankly, isn't optimal anymore. There are myriad benefits such as children having better capacity to think, adults being more employable, and the elderly having an innate biomechanical response to really helping fight against Alzheimer's. So my hope is to show that the US has been erroneously deciding that monolingualism is still okay, and in fact, it is very outdated. So naturally, let's start with the children because that's the first developmental stage. It has been said that through Agnes Melinda Kovacs and Jacques Mellet's July 2009 article, Flexible Learning of Multiple Speech Structures in Bilingual Infants, that because these infants and these children go through the same amount of time growing up, but learn a whole other language, that they spend on average twice as much energy learning another language as someone else. So in fact, they're learning twice as much material in the same time, which means that it is really pushing for a faster and more efficient cognitive process because they have to process twice as much information at the same time. So this really puts two trains of thoughts in that if you give two children the same task, on average they'll finish it at the same time. But if you switch a task after that, then suddenly the multilingual child is able to perform it and finish it at a faster, more adapted rate than the monolingual child. And that is huge because that promotes development cognitively. So after children, we go on to adults. And in the adult life, work is a huge thing. It's important in all of our societies. And according to the Erasmus study by U. Brandenburg in 2014, 70% of students that went abroad as a part of this program were found to be more employable than their counterparts that did not go abroad and did not learn different language skills or different languages in general. So imagine that you're in a conference call with China or Saudi Arabia about a trade deal. It would make much more sense if you knew their language and could speak freely with them rather than just relying on the same old system of English as a common language. So there have been benefits for children and for adults. And now moving on to the elderly adults, there are, I think, the most beneficial things about health entirely here. So for instance, my mom works in a nursing home, especially tailored for Alzheimer's patients. And I can say that from being there and from seeing her work and seeing the people in general that Alzheimer's is a very debilitating and devastating disease, not just to the individual, but also to everyone around them. Alzheimer's affects, as many of you know, memory and also later neuromuscular functions. So it is, in fact, a very insidious disease because it creeps in slowly. And according to Dr. Howard Kirchow, from his article, Multilingualism, but not always bilingualism, delays onset of Alzheimer's disease, evidence from a bilingual community, the study has proven that, on average, being multilingual can reduce the likelihood of early onset of Alzheimer's by up to 5 years. 5 years, which I think is a very poignant and very important statistic to look at when deciding if the United States should factor in multilingualism in all of its students and all of its citizens, and just teaching multilingualism as a basis in the first place. So clearly there are a lot of benefits that are going on right now from researching multilingualism. There are myriad benefits, in fact, about the potential benefits of being multilingual, as I discussed, such as the children were able to think faster and better and adapt better to situations, to adults being more complicit in their employability and being more generally well received in the world, and also for the geriatric patients who are able to combat Alzheimer's in a more osteopathic, innate way. So I think it's an interesting paradox because, you know, there are a lot of adults that complain about their children not being educated enough or not being sharp enough, or about them not having enough employability within themselves, or about their elderly family becoming sick. And I think it's quite an easy fix, because we could just fix this, I think, by having everyone become multilingual. And if not for yourself, then think for the future, and think for the future generations. I think that by catching up with the rest of the world and being multilingual, that we can truly help everyone out in the long run.